Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. I just wanted to do a little quick talk on chisels and how flat the back of your chisels needs to be. So I was very fortunate to get a set of these inexpensive chisels. They were $8 US for 4 chisels. So that makes them $2 a piece. Heck, I don't know if I could make the wood handle for that money. Well, we all know, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's common knowledge, I should say, that one of the key parts to a cutting edge is the two planes, this plane and this plane, coming together to an infinite point, and that's thus creating an invisible, you can't see it, edge. That's sharp. So the other part of that, with plain irons, we talk about how flat the face of it needs to be so that it will mate with the chip breaker. However, we also use something called the ruler technique or a back bevel from time to time in order to be able to take some old blades and get them to work. You shouldn't do that with chisels. Chisels, the back should be flat. Chisels, it's called the back. Bevel down planes, it's called the face. Okay, the reason for the flatness in the back, and it's a little more obvious when you have a long plane, a long chisel. Okay, this is a paring chisel. It is not a timber frame mortising chisel. It is a paring chisel. It's not meant to lever anything out because it's thin. When you have a very long blade, you can pare out, let's say a housing dado. You can get in there and you can pare that out. Whereas if you have any sort of bevel on the front of the back, you'll have to lift your blade in order to get a cut. And that negates or eliminates the ability to stay flat. You see, I'm not getting a shaving here. Okay, that's because this is an old vintage one and it's not perfectly flat on the back because somebody levered it. It's close. I use it for paring, but I have to lift ever so slightly. All right. So when you buy these, when you buy a new chisel, and this is the whole premise of today's episode, is when you're getting started. This tool cost me more than all 4 of these chisels, and then I had to custom make a handle for it. There are 2 conditions you will find when you get new chisels. Either they'll be hollowed in the back, okay, they'll have a hollow. Let me see if I turn the chisel like this, okay, they'll hollow out, or they'll have a belly. Sometimes they'll be dead flat, but for the most part, medium to low end chisels as far as cost, I'm not saying quality, I'm saying cost, because I don't know the quality of the steel because I didn't make the steel. I was fortunate, every one of these is concave. Okay, this one is concave, and I haven't sharpened these yet, but they're concave as well. So, keeping with the theme of starting out, Not everybody can afford or will want to carry around a big old heavy diamond plate. DMT sent me this one to show you. Red, the color red is their fine, okay? I put a little bit of fluid on here. I lay the chisel down on its back, and I keep my fingers below it like this so that they act as a stop, so you're not grinding up into this section here. Okay? And you basically go back and forth on the back, keeping it flat, 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 flat on the plate. Now you can do this with sandpaper, but please glue your sandpaper down, because having it flop around will not give you the same results. Okay, so I've done this a few times, so I know what the results are, but you're starting to see a wear pattern here and a wear pattern up here. Can you see that? All right. I really don't care what's happening in here. I really don't care. Why? Because I'm going to concentrate my sharpening on the front of the chisel so that I have, and the chisel's getting better. I mean, every time I take it to the plate, it's getting, the flat section is getting bigger and bigger. But right now, that's done. That is done. I don't need to take this any further. So how flat does the back have to be? Well, if it's concave like that, you're good to go. And then as far as sharpening the bevel edge, it's just heel to toe, lock your wrist, till you get a little bit of a burr. And I've sharpened this chisel a few times, so I know I'm getting a very fine burr there. I don't need to go crazy, but I'll go until I get a good burr. There we go. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but there's a burr there. So that's just about it. I'll clean that off, and then I'll take the chisel, I'll lay it flat, and I'll just pull it back one time. Done. This chisel is now sharp enough to go straight to work. And I would say, I would call that a carpenter's edge. It's an edge that will be good enough to chisel out lock mortises, hinges, things like that. But if you want to take it to the next level, you get yourself some form of a strop or a finer stone. So what I did today is I took my maple board and I cleaned it up and gave it a new face, fresh Tormek paste. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this, remember, keeping flat pressure, we're going to pull out the back. Until we have a polished edge on the back. Okay. And you're starting to see it's actually getting shiny right here because there's a flat spot starting there. This is a little low right here, but the front edge is polished. I can go a little bit more of an angle like this and try to get some of the scratches out. Yep, that's it. That's done. Bevel edge, heel, toe, find the angle, lock your wrist, I'm locking the chisel right in here. See that, how that's pressed up against my arm? That's locked. And you can strop as much as you want until you get the keenness of edge that you want. And sometimes when you're stropping, you will turn a very, very, very slight burr on the back again. So just pull it out. Okay. So now, this chisel you can't see that. Now this chisel, look at that. No resistance. See that? This is a furniture maker's sharpness. See that? That is sharp. So when you're starting out, these types of chisels are great. They're absolutely great. You know why? Because they will dull faster. All right? So you're creating a knife wall. And there you go. Okay? Works perfect. There's nothing wrong with these chisels when you're starting out. Okay? You need to chop with them. You know, if you're shaping an edge, absolutely fine. So, in conclusion, and this sharpening stone that DMT sent me would be adequate for nearly any application, from sharpening knives to sharpening plane blades. In fact, this plane blade was sharpened with that stone. And that's a pretty heavy cut in this tulip poplar. Sapwood. Sapwood tulip poplar is stringy. It doesn't plane quite as nice as the deep green heartwood. Okay. Let's see if we can get that over a little bit. There we go. So when you're starting out, it's nice to set goals and want good tools, but you have to learn how to sharpen. And the more you sharpen, the better you'll get at it. There's nothing wrong with these chisels. As far as sharpening methods, these little DMT plates are really nice. Let me show you something about it. When you're doing plane blades, you loosen your chip breaker, you slide it back, and you retighten it. Not hard, just lightly. When you're doing plane blades, you're probably wondering, well, how am I going to sharpen really wide blades on this? Well, that goes back to the question I've had in the past about why did the old timers skew their blades? Well, that was so they could fit them on their stones. So this blade fits this stone just fine. A little bit of a burr, that's all there. Bring it back here, pull that burr off, chase it to the front, chase it to the back. Okay? And that's all that's required as far as sharpness. This will cut. But once again, you take it to your strop, heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the back. And we're done. The whole point is keeping life simple, quick and easy. Don't set your chip breaker too close, or you'll get a foul mouth in your plane. But if you don't set it close enough, the chip breaker will not do its job. Close the hood. And you're good to go. That's all it takes, people. That's all it takes to get beautiful fine shavings and a smooth surface. You know, it's not about the shaving. The shaving is the byproduct of sharpening and then preparing your wood. But the shaving tells you a lot about how you have your tools set up and how well you've got it sharpened. Alrighty, so there you go. I hope something I shared today was helpful, useful, maybe entertaining. If it was, give it the old thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. And when you are subscribed, ring the bell, because then you'll get notifications every time we make a new video. That's all for today. Thanks for stopping by, and head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.